Hey everybody out there in YouTube, painting my spare bedroom, and I took a little break today just to talk to you all. Woke up yesterday to go to work and saw rumors flying around that we had lost Jason David Frank, and it's kind of weird, because I'd met Jason David Frank at 4 or 5 different conventions and signings, and he had always been one of the nicest, most approachable people, and he was very charismatic, and he was very engaged with the fans, and he was always, you always knew when he was at a con. He had people in the palm of his hands. He could just control a room full of people, and he was very charismatic. But with that being said, he also made every person he met feel important. He was just, he had the ability, and you could tell too that he really liked being there and meeting these people. And for him, it didn't seem like it was a job. He did a charity event in Ashland, Kentucky, little Ashland, where I'm from, and had an exclusive print there and donated all the proceeds to a local charity. It had something to do with kids. I don't remember off the top of my head. But I went to meet him and wore this shirt. And he said, "Oh, it's a Wizard World shirt." Which Wizard World did we meet at before? He made it personal. He wanted to know where I had been before and had met him, and we talked a little bit, and I got my picture with him, and I've got a couple of things signed by him, and I've actually got my White Ranger tattoo, and this one hit me pretty hard because there's rumors flying around about, what happened to him and why, and I'll let you all go into it and stuff, but, he had a trip planned to, I think it was Uruguay or Paraguay somewhere. He had just done a giveaway on his Instagram social media. Everything seemed normal. And this one hit me kind of hard because this was somebody I grew up watching on TV. And like I said, I've met him 4 or 5 times, and he was always just go getter, just always jumping up on tables and yelling at the crowd, and getting them riled up. And I remember at Wizard World one time, they were going to have a Jason David Frank karate demo, and it wasn't a demo. He made everybody get up. He made everybody do the moves. It was like he was teaching a class. He was very involved. And, if the reasons for what happened to JDF are true, and the rumors about that are true, I completely understand where he was at. And it's a really dark and lonely place. And I was very lucky that I had people that cared enough about me to check on me and to make sure I was okay and to make sure that I was going to be okay. Because if it wasn't for my support group, I wouldn't have made it. And it's really hard when you're in that situation to ask for help, because sometimes you don't know you need help. Sometimes your mind can only think of one thing. You're in a really dark place, and Jason David Frank had a world in his hand, had a ton of people that cared about him, but it doesn't matter. You're alone, and it's a really dark place, and I've been there, and no matter what, you're alone in your head. That's the worst place you can be, alone in your head, alone in your heart. And it just really sucks because he was a pillar of the local Comic-Con community here in Lexington. He'd been there every year except for one, I think, and it was always, hey, JDF's going to be here, and you could tell when he was there. And I met him, I just kept going back and meeting him because he was so nice of a person. He was always so interactive. And I'm not making this video to brag about what I got to do with JDF and all this stuff. I'm making this video out there because I want people to realize that it's okay if you're depressed or you're alone or you're down or whatever. That's okay. Those feelings happen. Everybody gets depressed. Everybody has bad days. Everybody does whatever. Everybody, you never know what somebody's going through until they tell you. If you ever get to the point in your life that you feel like you've only got one solution left, that's not true. If you ever get to that point where you feel like there's only one way out, there's only one way this is going to end, you need to get help. Whether it's a phone call, whether it's calling, the prevention line, whether it's calling a therapist, getting yourself in to physically see somebody face to face, whether it's calling a family member, whether it's calling a friend. There's an old saying that somebody would rather listen to you than read your obituary. And that carries a lot of weight. There's definitely people out there that would rather listen to your story or what you're going through or give you some advice than look back and say, man, I wish I had helped or I wish I'd known. You know, we're at a point with JDF that we don't know exactly what caused this, but he had been very outspoken for years about his battles with depression. And it's just sad that we've lost him now. But I really hope that somebody out there watching this video and somebody out there that JDF impacted in their personal life, whether it was meeting him, whether it was watching him on TV, doing whatever, can don't let it win. Just get the help. I know it's hard and I know it's tough to admit that you need help, that you can't do it on your own, but sometimes you've got to swallow your pride and just knuckle down and get some help, because you've got to make it through this. It's going to get better. It will get better. I'm living proof. If the rumors about what happened with JDF are true, I was in the exact same boat, and I was at the lowest point I've ever been in my life. And like I said, if it wasn't for my support group and my friends, I wouldn't have made it through it. And I wouldn't be here to tell you that it gets better. But I'm actually in a lot better place now than I was then. And to be honest with you, I'm glad I went through what I went through, because it made me a better person, and it made me appreciate a lot of stuff, and it made me realize a lot of things about myself. But, you know, this is really sad, and it's really tragic. And we all need to kind of just step back and reflect on this and realize not only what can we do better for ourselves, but what can we do better for each other. Maybe we need to realize and start seeing this stuff in people. Maybe we need to start listening better. Maybe we need to start talking better and communicating better and telling people, hey, I'm having some trouble. Can I just talk to you? Because sometimes talking about the stuff helps a lot. And, you know, I found out whenever I went through mine and I started kind of opening up to people, two of my really good friends went through a similar situation I went through. And it helped me a lot to know that it wasn't just me, that somebody else had been where I was at and had, you know, went through the same thing. And they were fine now. You know, it helped me a lot. But I want you all to realize it's okay to get help, or to ask for help, or to it's okay not to be okay. But please just ask for help or get help. You can literally call a phone number and it will be anonymous. You can call your therapist. There's ways. A lot of your insurance providers now have digital therapy where you just FaceTime a therapist and you can talk to them. And like I said, I really hope you've got somebody in your life that you could talk to and say, hey man, you know, I'm struggling a little bit. Can I just talk to you for a minute? Because like I said, your friends would rather sit down and talk to you for 10 or 15 minutes or have a drink with you or whatever than have to go to your funeral. So I wish everybody the best. I hope you all have the best holidays. Thank you for listening.